Beautiful souls, light of love, universal wisdom, shine your love on us. Beautiful souls, unity in love, spirit and angels watching over us.
Hello, welcome to Mystic Mindfulness. I'm Christine. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I would like to kind of discuss religion, what religion is, and how religion is founded on fear, and why religions want to keep people bound in fear. And I'm not saying that all religions are intentionally keeping people bound in fear, but the way that things have progressed through historically, if you look at this, you'll see that religion has kept people bound in fear. And I would like to look at that a little bit more thoroughly. And as we're going through this, maybe just ask yourself, why would religions want to keep people bound in fear? So, processing through my own religious wounds, and I'm reading because I've got my notes here, so bear with me here. What is religion? Religion is a set of systematic rules of beliefs that are required in order to belong. It's exclusive if you don't hold to the same tenets of belief. When I was growing up, I attended mostly charismatic churches up until the age of 20. And charismatic churches are a little more free thought, more free thinking, and they're more inclusive of all kinds of people, at least from my own experience with that. That's what I witnessed. When I was in my 20s, I ended up going to a Baptist affiliated church that was very fundamental in their beliefs. So with that, fundamental churches are far more exclusive, and they hold very tightly to their religious views. Religion perpetuates fear, prejudice, discrimination, and sexism, especially in the interpretation of literal Bible readings. And not every church or religion reads the Bible literally. Many take freedoms to interpret it through their own lenses and perspectives. Under literal interpretation of the Bible, under literal reading of it, does the Bible claim to be the ultimate truth? Yes. Does the Bible claim to be God? Yes. Does the Bible claim to be Jesus? Yes. John 1 through 14. Does Jesus claim to be the truth? Yes. When someone takes literally, like I did, these claims and sees it as the literal ultimate truth, and then discovers errors in their belief system, and then to discover that many people of the same belief, denominations, or religion interpret things differently, I started to question, if this is the ultimate truth, wouldn't we all be on the same page with these beliefs? Like, especially hell. Some people believe that hell is a metaphor, and you can study this for yourself. Hope Beyond Hell is a great book to read about the Greek and Hebrew meaning of hell, and also The Four Views on Hell is also a really good book, and I would encourage you to read these. So you find that people of the same religion even have differing views on hell. And why is that so important to me? Okay, well, growing up, I believed, because I was taught, that everybody needed to be saved. And if you're saving people, because that was what you're supposed to do, then if hell doesn't exist, what are you saving them from? And if hell doesn't exist, then why have I always been so afraid of this evil that could somehow devour me? And if I falter or fail, we were also taught the possibility of losing your salvation. So I should add that in there too. So you really want to be a good Christian person and live your life in a great, upstanding way, so that you don't stumble, fall, backslide, end up in hell when you die. So hell is a very core, strong belief within the Christian religion. If hell doesn't exist in the way that we were taught, that means that the Bible itself, which claims to be truth, could have a lot more errors in it. And if that's the case, then you really can't claim it as the ultimate truth. And that shattered my belief system. So it sent me spinning on a course of spirituality without religion. It took me through a rabbit hole of grieving and studying and research to the place where I am today, which for me today, I am so much more at peace, and I am so much more free to love myself and love others, because there isn't this great fear that's dominating my life. I'm no longer running from this fear that's chasing me everywhere I go. Like, I'm okay, I'm safe, it's gonna be all right. Religion pigeonholes people through fear, which, looking back through history, was the ultimate form of power. When someone or something claims to be the ultimate truth and then exposes that there's errors in it, have they lied? Did the Bible lie? Did God lie? Did Jesus lie? Or did religious-minded people add to or take from, through their own personal perspectives and lenses, while translating the Bible? Historically, we can see that this has actually happened. We know this from Martin Luther when he reformed the church through interpretation and translation of the Bible, which is why he was murdered, because the church didn't like that he was actually exposing truths. It was discovered that there were hidden truths kept secret to keep people bound in fear under the ruling powers that be at that time. So I question, well, how much is still hidden? Are there any remaining details that have intentionally been left out for fear of what may unfold if history, science, and the Bible collided? Would it reveal that Jesus taught reincarnation? Would it reveal that Jesus traveled to India? Would it reveal a matrix? Would it reveal aliens? Would we discover quantum physics as a reality? Would it reveal multi-dimensions? Why are religious people afraid to step outside of their book that they claim to be the truth to study? Are they afraid that they would encounter evil? What if instead they unveiled a love so deep that fear no longer dominated? Religion says you cannot question your beliefs if you want to belong. You must without doubt hold to those certain tenets. I came across a quote on YouTube the other day, and I felt like it was quite fitting. I can't quote it verbatim because I don't know who to give the credit to, but it was relating to propaganda, and it said, if you can't question it. Yes. So Growing up between the ages of 14 and 16, some of my own questions that I had weren't so much theological at that time as they were observational. Like, if Christians have the ultimate truth and the Holy Spirit dwells within them, why do we struggle with sin and live our lives like non-Christian people do? I couldn't see any difference in non-Christian Christian people, as we all struggled with the same internal sufferings and areas we needed to grow in. At that time in health class especially, I was being taught from self-help books, and I don't know, in the 90s, I think, especially in the 90s, there was a lot of self-help books, and there may still be today. But it seemed to me that especially in the 90s, people were wanting to do a lot of self-growth. And I couldn't see any difference between what I was being taught in church and what I was being taught in school. And under the religious beliefs that I grew up in, I held very strongly that there had to be a difference between our lives and the lives of non-Christian people. And yet I wasn't seeing it. And I could see that non-Christian people were very much interested in personal growth, and I couldn't figure out, if they were headed for hell, why would they be so interested in this personal growth? And not that they knew that they were headed for hell. That's the thing, is that I didn't believe that they knew they were headed for hell. It was my job to inform them and to save them from this hell. And yet I'm looking at them going, well, they're also trying to live their life in this very loving, compassionate area of growth within their lives, and to become better people too. So, I mean, that unveiled a whole lot of questions for me. Why would God send someone to hell if they really were interested in becoming a better version of themselves? And then the other question was, how are they becoming a better version of themselves if they don't have the Holy Spirit within them? Only Christian people have the Holy Spirit. And then as me, for, having the Holy Spirit, was I getting any extra help in becoming a better version of myself? It should have been. I mean, if I have the Holy Spirit dwelling in me, I should be leaps and bounds above the non-Christian people, and as far as my struggle with sin. Why were there non-Christians who were experiencing these levels of growth if they didn't have the Holy Spirit? And so I did go home and I did ask questions. And the answers I was given was, they're doing it by works, just works alone. And I was like, well, that's what I'm doing too. That's what all Christian people do. We do it by working on it. It doesn't just, I mean, if the Holy Spirit is strong enough, we should just be able to instantaneously be out of this struggle, and we're all working on it. So that didn't suffice an answer for me. The other one was, even Satan masquerades as a angel of light, and that's in 2 Corinthians 11:14. And what that was referring to was that certain things may look really good from the secular standpoint. You can look at the secular world, the non-Christian world, and you can see things that might look like the light, but even Satan masquerades as an angel of light. And if you are one who questions things like I did, and I thought, well, even my religion looks like a light. Am I being tricked? I mean, if you're constantly looking at the possibility that that light might be trickery, you have to question your own religion, your own belief system. Maybe I've been tricked. This thinking keeps Christian thinkers in fear of running into the devil somewhere. And it wasn't too long ago that I was told, because I do enjoy my yoga exercise, I was told not too long ago that there's a church out there that I know someone who attends that had a guest speaker, and the guest speaker was talking about how yoga invites the devil in. And I had asked this person I was in a conversation with, because they were encouraging me not to do yoga because it could invite the devil, demonic spirits into your life. And I said, okay, so without even knowing it, even when I was living at home, I was doing these stretching exercises. I didn't know they were yoga moves. So I'm working out, stretching, exercising, and you're telling me that even without knowing that I was doing yoga, I could have unintentionally invited demons into my life. I don't buy it. And so again, you can see where this fear is continually being taught. You have to ask why. Why? Another fear-based Bible verse is 1 Peter 5, 8 through 9. Be on guard, for your enemy, the devil, wants to attack you, and he's coming after you to devour you. And so Christian people who take the Bible literally are constantly wanting to live their lives in light, because there's Bible verses too that says don't hide your light, let it shine. So you're constantly trying to live your best Christian life for fear that you might stumble, for fear that you might lose your salvation. The devil's after you. And there's two ways to look at this within the Christian belief system, and it's a catch-22. If you're not living your best life, then Satan has more power over you to attack you. If you are living your best Christian life, the devil's really after you then, because he wants to hide your light. So you're pretty much stuck no matter which way you go. You're in trouble either way. So you've got this constant fear of, trying to outrun the devil. And in 1 John 4, 18 through 19, there's a contradiction here in the Bible, because it says perfect love casts out fear. And when you are looking at a fear-based religion, it promotes judgment, and it promotes ego-based spirituality. You're comparing yourself to others. If they're having a bad month and Satan's attacking them, is what you would call that, well, they must have done something wrong. Or maybe they're just doing too much right. Maybe for me in my own personal life, if I was struggling, what did I do wrong? I must have done something wrong to deserve this kind of, tribulation. And when your life is going really, really well, it promotes that ego-based, look at me, my life's on target, I'm excelling at this spirituality stuff, this religion stuff, I'm doing really well. And so it promotes comparisons and judgments and ego, and with that then you've got condemnation and shame and guilt as well that underlies a lot of that. And that's, who wants to live with shame and guilt and judgment? Groupthink is a real thing, and if people aren't encouraged to think outside of the box and ask questions with their own research outside of the Bible and outside of their church religion, they're promoting the groupthink. And groupthink is where a bunch of people are all thinking the same way, so much so that they're afraid to even ask questions or study or research. It's the sheep kind of mode where we're just following along, just to follow along. And if one person falls off the cliff, I guess we're all going with it. And you'll find this even in businesses. In fact, I found out about groupthink by a college course I was taking. So if you don't know what groupthink is, I would highly recommend you looking that up. But that's exactly what religion is. It's groupthink. And the reason why I say that is because in religion, in churches, if you even were to ask any of these questions, they might give you just very vague answers, like I had been given. But if you were to ask them any more, or even research on your own and come back with your proof of evidence, you would be excommunicated or sent out of the church, or told not to bring this up to other people. And I was actually told this too: please don't mention this to other people in the church. It's going to cause a lot of confusion. I had actually been told that. Other people that I know have been kicked out of churches for asking questions that didn't line up with the groupthink or the tenets of belief, as they called it. So I want to make sure I'm on track here. If we continue this groupthink, we will never find truth for ourselves, and we will be perpetuating this continual fear, and especially in young kids that I feel like should be given the ability to learn to think for themselves. And I don't want to just demean religion all the way around. I think religion has some good qualities to it. I just wish that within that, people were given the freedom to be able to study and research and know for themselves. So that's where I'm at, and I'll keep working through my studies and research, and as I go, I'll inform you guys, and hopefully through your growth process and studies and research that you can find your own truth for yourself too, and not be bound in fear. When I went through this whole long process of grieving and studying research, I've come to a place of no longer fearing, and that brings about love, because the opposite of fear is love. So I can love myself more fully, I can love other people more fully, and I can be acceptant of people. I can accept all people in light of love, and that in itself is freeing, and I hope you find that as well. Much love and light to you. Thank you for joining me. We'll talk soon.